I just would like you to, I would like to invite you
Pleasure.
to imagine a street full of mango trees, okay? Mango trees around, kids playing around, having fun, barefoot, and someone always offering you a cup of coffee. Even if you just met that person, and with a big smile, they will offer you a cup of coffee. I know that that place may be anywhere on the planet, but this one is in Venezuela. And that's where my story begins. My name, as you might have seen, is spelled with a Y, but it's pronounced with an I. And I know it's a little bit confusing. But I like to think that that name holds the roots of my soul, my roots, my ancestors. So I'm Ybrahim. And today I'm here to share with you a journey that changed my life, basically. That journey began when I was a little boy. That little boy over there. Since that age, I was always drawn into the invisible, the intangible, the light behind things. And I had no idea at that time that that curiosity would lead me to the pineal gland and to what I'm doing here with you today, guys. So, hola, everyone, and welcome, hola, and welcome to my presentation, Awakening the Inner Light, the Power of the Pineal Gland, with Ybrahim Camero. Of course, at that age, I had no idea what the pineal gland was, not at all. I just remember myself flipping through books, trying to understand how God created humanity. At that age, okay? Trying to make sense of it all. And it wasn't until many, many years later that I discovered this little beautiful jewel that we have in the brain, the pineal gland. The pineal gland is a very tiny gland. It's located on the middle of the brain. It's approximately the size of a lentil, of a grain of rice. It's really small. And it calls pineal gland, or pineal, wherever you're from, it's called because in that way because it's very similar to a pine cone. The shape is really, really similar to that. And hey, it might be really small, but it's very, very important for our life and our well-being, okay? One of the things, if I ask you here, for instance, how many of you know about people who struggle to have a good night's sleep? Let me see your hands. Yeah, a lot, yeah. Unfortunately, it's quite often. But what if I tell you that the pineal gland can help you with that? Yeah, you might be wondering, wow, how is that possible? Simple, the pineal gland produces something called melatonin, which is also known as the sleep hormone. Here we have it, the sleep hormone. So when it's nighttime, when it's dark, and we go to sleep, we close our eyes and rest. It has to be dark, okay, really important. We close the eyes, and after a few hours after that, the pineal gland opens the gates of the melatonin factory, so we can drift into a very deep and restful sleep. And what if I tell you that the pineal gland also acts as a mood regulator? Yes. Why? Because the pineal gland also produces serotonin, another important hormone that is also known as the mood hormone. So I can keep talking over here about all the benefits that the pineal gland brings to our physical body. I can talk about the antioxidant powers of the pineal gland. I could talk about how it fights free radicals in our body. I could talk about the oncostatic properties, and this word is really oncostatic. It sounds really interesting. And that means the pineal gland can stop the cancer cells' growth. But I'm not a doctor, and I'm not here to give you a medical master class because otherwise all of you are going to be sleeping, and that's not the case. I just want you to get and to understand that the gland might be tiny, maybe really small, but it's essential for our well-being. It's vital for our well-being. There is more. There is more about the pineal gland. The pineal gland has always been known for centuries, for ages, as a gateway to higher consciousness. Here we have it. As a gateway to higher consciousness. It's being connected to spiritual insights. It's being connected to intuition. And this part personally speaking, is really close to my heart. And that is what brought me here today. A few years ago, before I got into this of activating my pineal gland, I was going through, or we were going as a family, but personally speaking, I was going through a very difficult time that it might sound familiar to many of us. On that moment, I felt we actually lost everything because we jumped into a business venture that led us literally in bankruptcy. And I felt as a loser. I felt, what am I doing here? I felt I didn't have any purpose in my life. I was sad, I felt lost with no motivation. And I actually have an image. One day I remember I was working in a very sad job that I had. I was working from home. And I got an image that I actually was thrown into a pool filled with jelly. Yes, that was what I felt. Somebody got me and threw me there. In a swimming pool where I couldn't swim, I couldn't move, I couldn't even breathe. I was just in the middle of that. And when I was in that swimming pool, that analogy, I remember me seeing outside, and I could see my two beautiful daughters, teenagers, just running around, listening to music, jumping in the pool, having fun. My beautiful wife having a piña colada, on one hand, and on the other hand, reading her favorite book. The sun was shiny, the sky was blue, and I was there. I was there, in the middle of that sweet, colorful, sticky, emotional mess. I didn't know what was happening. I was wondering there, what am I doing here? What am I doing here in Australia, where I left everything back in my country? What am I feeling like that? What am I so sad? Am I depressed? What is this? I didn't know. As I didn't know either, that a few months after that, I was going to discover something that literally changed my life. And that's what I want to share with you today. And that was the Cyclopea method. A method created over 34 years ago in South America, in Chile, in the Andes. And I have a very close friend of mine who in that moment told me, and she knew exactly what I was going through. She knew about that, and she told me, Ybrahim, you should do the seminar of activation of the pineal gland based on the Cyclopea method. And I told her, no, I'm not going to do that. Because at that moment, even though despite I was doing my journaling, all the tools that I had, I was using them. My affirmations, I was doing a life coaching training, and I was applying my affirmations every single day. I am, I can do it, I'm positive, I can do it. But I was still in that swimming pool, trying to survive. And she invited me, and I told her, no, I'm doing a lot of stuff. I'm doing my affirmations, my journaling, even praying. But I knew I was not in a good place. I'm so glad she insisted. And when somebody I love recommends me something, I just go for it because I believe it's for my good. And I did it. And I got to tell you that the seminar goes for 2 days. It's a weekend. And that weekend, after that, it was like somebody was pulling me out of the swimming pool. Like, tell me, come out of there. It was like somebody was pouring hot water on that sticky jelly, like putting the heater on. So I could not only swim, I could jump out of the pool. I can run with my girls, have fun. But the most important thing for me in that moment was that I found peace of mind. Because it was not only about feeling sad, it was being concerned, worried, frustrated, not knowing what to do. And after that, I said, okay, now I understand. It's so hard to explain. But for me, it was like a new energy was flowing through my body, my bones, my whole soul, like, wow, now I totally saw life from a different perspective. It was so much the transformational power that I had on that weekend. That, I pushed my wife, who is here today with us, I pushed her, I told her, you have to do this seminar. Okay, you have to do it. And it was an online seminar from a facilitator in Venezuela, Venezuelan time. So I spent 2 nights awake, stuck to the computer like that. But it was so powerful that I said, I can't keep this to myself. I have to spread the word. What can I do? I need to become an instructor and bring this to Australia. Bring this to Australia. And in that process of learning, studying, becoming an instructor, getting my certification, one of the first things that called my attention was to discover, for me it was new, but was to discover that the pineal gland is not new. I mean, the pineal power has been within the humanity for ancient times, for centuries. The first one, the Hindu culture. And we all know about the third eye. And it's actually quite interesting because everybody comes to my stand and tells me, oh, the pineal gland, that's the third eye? Yes. Yes, it is. It's what they call it like that. And it's connected one more time to inner awakening, to spirituality, to connecting to a bigger source. The Egyptians, have you seen this symbol before? I'm pretty sure you have. It's very famous, it's very popular. I'm betting some of you might have a tattoo of it in your body. It's the Eye of Horus. Horus, one of the most important gods that they had, the god of the sky and the protection. Now look at this, that might be familiar with you too. This image is an cross section of the brain where the pineal gland is located. I want you to see the similarities between that area and the Eye of Horus. Is that a coincidence? I don't think so. I really don't think so. For me, it's fascinating, this area over here. And my conclusion is that these guys, they knew about that. They knew it. So we can talk from Hindu culture to the Egyptians, from the Taoists in China, they knew about the pineal gland, to modern Christianity. The symbol of the pineal gland has been hidden in plain sight, has been hidden for centuries, trying to tell us, hey, I'm powerful. They knew about the power of the pineal gland. So, but this is history. Now, what modern science is saying about the pineal gland. Interesting, because it wasn't for many, many years the scientific community thought that the pineal gland was a leftover gland, a leftover from evolution. It wasn't until 1958 when that gentleman that you see there, that doctor, his name is Aaron Lerner from America, he discovered melatonin. And after melatonin, serotonin. And that's when they say, oh, it's just produced by the pineal gland. Interesting, 1958. If we compare that with the Egyptian, that was yesterday. Okay? After that, 60s, 70s, NASA sent people to the space race, and they noticed that the astronauts were coming back with a different sleeping cycle. The circadian rhythms were different. They were sleeping better. They were feeling better. Nowadays, science confirms that when the pineal gland is properly stimulated, you produce more melatonin, more serotonin, you sleep better, and you feel better. Science has also confirmed that when people go through the process of stimulating the pineal gland through a high-frequency energy, they all report an enhanced state of consciousness. They feel, they don't know how, but they feel more aligned, more connected. They feel better. And I'm pretty sure that you know that amazing gentleman in the corner of the slide, Dr. Joy Dispenza. His contributions to this field has been amazing, amazing. He says that the pineal gland is not only a gland, an organ, the pineal gland is an antenna that when it's properly stimulated, radiates, connects to a higher source of energy, that energy comes to you and you radiate through your body. So the science nowadays is confirming that. One important detail, you might have noticed that I've been talking about the stimulation. When it's stimulating, it connects, okay? Do you remember the story? I'm sure you remember the story that I just told you about me being in that swimming pool full of jelly, and that I was doing everything. I was praying, I was journaling, even meditating, which is amazing, the meditation, to activate my pineal gland. And you know, I felt good. I remember I could feel good, but I could feel good for short periods of time. Like I did my meditation, okay, I'm fine. Or I did my journaling, my affirmation, all that, which is amazing, it's good, and I feel good. But after a few hours, guess what? I was jumping into my pool again, there, one more time, and I didn't know why. And what I didn't know was that I was not activating my pineal gland. I was stimulating my pineal gland. Yes, because there is a big difference between stimulation versus activation of the pineal gland. And I'm going to put this in a very simple example for you to picture it and capture it very easily. Imagine, well, you don't have to imagine because the picture is here. We have lemons over here. I was going to imagine a lemon. No, the lemon is already there, okay? But imagine that you have the lemon here in your hand now, or in a table, but in a chopping board. And we chop that lemon. We cut it by half. We squeeze the lemon with a hand or with a lemon squeezer, and what do we get? Lemon juice, exactly. Now, what happened if I stop squeezing the lemon or if I just drop the lemon? No more lemon juice. Simple. So what I'm trying to tell you over here is that the stimulation is external. It depends, relies on an external factor. In this case, the lemon is a lemon squeezer to get lemon juice. Exactly the same happened with the pineal gland. When I put myself in a high frequency, high vibration energy, we can call it therapy, music, meditation, light therapy, reflection, observing a symbol like some monks do. They spend hours looking at a symbol to activate. They activate it, we stimulate it. The antenna is here and goes like that. But as soon as I stop squeezing the lemon, no more lemon juice. The gland goes back to dormant, no more connection, no more serotonin, no more melatonin. So it's external and it's temporary. It lasts the time that external factor stimulation lasts. On the other hand, activation is permanent, is internal. It comes from within, from your own life, from your heart, from here, from your inner energy. That's why it's permanent. It's not relying on anything. The key here is for us it's like a switch. Imagine that we have a switch inside and it's down. We have the capacity, without relying absolutely anything outside, to put the switch back on. And the indicator will be our feelings. If I'm feeling down, okay, I connect. Source, energy, take control. Connect, because that's what the pineal gland does. And I'm going to tell you something. Now, the planet is going through a very interesting process that might help us to do this in an easier way. However, if I ask you now, what do you think is happening now with the planet on Earth? What is happening? On top of that, I'm pretty sure that you're thinking now, all this stuff. Climate change, natural disasters, mental health crisis, political and economical instability. The last weeks has been awful in regards to that. Wars just happening and happening and happening. AI taking over, so people are really concerned about that. And you know what? It's true. I'm not going to deny it. And this is overwhelming. But we need to pause. We need to stop somehow. I'm not denying that is happening, but there is another side to the story that is not being told. And we need to know about that. Have you heard, I'm pretty sure you have, but have you heard about the auroras? This word is really hard for me to pronounce. Auroras, okay? These beautiful lights that are normally seen in the North Pole and in the South Pole. And that in the last year, they have been seen everywhere, anywhere in the planet. In Venezuela, a tropical country, we had auroras a couple of years ago. In Germany, in Italy. That one was in the northern beaches here in 2024 in Manly. And we had them not long ago. Those auroras are signs from Earth telling us there is a shift on its energy. The energy of the Earth is changing, is increasing, okay? Back in 1932, long time ago, a group of spiritual guides, they said that when humanity faced wars, economical and political instability, natural disasters, they were all clear signs that a great change for humanity was about to happen. They also said that there was going to be a sign, a unique sign, a clear indicator to let us know that the change already begun. And that sign was going to be seen in places where never seen before. And that sign is the auroras. So the earth is changing. There is a situation that is increasing the energy. And it's a call for us to do something. But you might be wondering, okay, Ybrahim, how do we activate this pineal gland? How do we activate this light within myself and align with this planetary situation and help to increase my frequency, my energy, and live a better life? Well, I was telling you about the seminar that I received, and that's a way to do it. During that weekend, is so much information given, so transformational. And I want to mention only 3 elements or facts that for me, I know that for other people other things are, but for me, these 3 that I'm going to tell you were quite significant. The first one is very simple. It was for me to understand, I already knew that, but to understand that we are way more than this, that we are energy. We are energy beings physicalized in this container. This stage is energy, those chairs are energy, everything is energy. Our thoughts, our feelings, our words are energy. And I could see this clearly when it was showed on that weekend, the work of Dr. Masaru Emoto. You might have heard about him as well. A Japanese scientist who used to do experiments with water. He used to freeze the water. He used to expose the water to different words to evaluate, to assess the impact of the energy that those words had. So he talked to the water, he put words to the water, put it on the freezer, and after that analyzed the water crystals. The results speak by themselves. Look how beautiful, harmonious, and coherent are the crystals of water where the words were love, were harmony, and look at how disruptive are the other ones. And how do we do that? Connecting. That means that if the words are energy, if we are energy, we can connect, we should connect to a higher frequency of energy. And how do we do that? Through the pineal gland. For me, it was, okay, that's good. The second thing that called my attention, and this was really rational, scientific, because I do have a science background. So for me, when they told me that only 10% of our DNA, the DNA strands, the change of DNA, only 10%, some theory says that is less. Only that percentage has been decoded, and that 10% includes not only the way that we look, not only the phenotypic characteristic, but our traits, our talent, our paradigms, our memory for ancestors, that everything is contained there. That's the only part that the science has been able to decode so far. The rest, the 90% left over, science has not been able to decode those proteins. So they call it junk DNA, rubbish DNA. But experiments, scientific experiments, have also shown that when the DNA is exposed to a high-frequency energy, there is actually an Australian scientist who won a Nobel Prize in that area. I don't remember her name now, sorry, but I can find it if you're interested. When we expose the DNA to a high-frequency energy, what happened with that DNA? The change expands, and that 90% radiates energy, transform. And that's what science calls epigenetic reprogramming. And when we do that, we have the capacity to heal ourselves, and we have the capacity to radiate and vibrate in a higher frequency. For me, this was as well. And one more time, how do we do that? Activating the gland and connecting to a bigger source of, higher source of energy. Oof, for me, it was amazing. And the last one was a little bit more personal. The third part was for me feeling that I had an expanded consciousness. All those worries just like vanished. It was like, okay, I got peace. I could enjoy my family. I'm here in Australia. I'm grateful to be here. And I found a purpose in my life. As simple as that. I got these 3 scenes that for me were, wow. And you might be wondering, okay, how do you do that? How is that going in a talk, in a seminar? It's interesting because the seminar, in the first day of the seminar, we talk and talk and talk and talk. You are loaded with energy, and that energy is going to expand that DNA, and you will be ready to, at the end of the day, do a very simple exercise, but very deep, that will allow you to lift the barrier, activate the pineal gland, lift the barrier, and connect to that source of energy that you can call it with a name that you prefer. At the end of that seminar, we are fully ready to be in this higher frequency. And we are still going to be humans, okay? We're still going to go down. We're going to still be sad. We're going to have a very powerful tool that is going to help us. And one more time, I can't keep talking about that, but instead of that, I prepared a very short video from people who have been in the seminar. I will invite you to watch it for a few minutes. It doesn't go more than 2 minutes.
Hi, I'm Amy.
Hi, I'm Mario.
And we did the course or the seminar 2 months ago.
Can you hear?
Well,
yeah.
2 months
We
ago.
put the volume a little bit up. Excuse me.
I think
Can
the
we put the
biggest
volume a little
takeaway for me was how easy it is to connect to something bigger than us, and that is just a source of infinite light that will guide us and help us, and it's just as easy and straightforward as 1, 2, 3.
My biggest takeaway is that you hear over and over that everything is connected, but you really don't know. But this one helped me to see how things actually connect. It's interesting.
It's more about us being connected as humanity being connected. It's amazing to hear how really we are and how powerful this connection is and how important it is, because the higher the light or the frequency we live in as one, well, the better the world
us,
and the better the world will be, our lives will be.
Hi, my name is Sjoerd and I did the seminar. And what most impacted me after the experience is that my mind is very quiet. The thoughts are not going left, right, and center. Really peace and quiet in my head, so I can really focus on what I want to create and what I want to achieve. So amazing. Thank you so much.
My name is Isabel, and I first did the Pineal Gland seminar in September 2023. I would have to say my most powerful experience was an exercise we did at the end of day 2 where you dive deep inside yourself, and it was just indescribable. My perspective has changed after these exercises immensely. I feel a lot more open to the direction that the universe puts me in, and I just feel lighter and more creative too. If I had to describe Pineal Power and this experience in one sentence, it would have to be an incredibly magical reminder of what we're capable of.
I love how Isabel says that is an incredible reminder of who we are capable of. And it's true. I mean, we have no limits. I love, you might notice that they said it's easy 1, 2, 3 to connect. It brings me peace of mind, clarity on my thoughts. It gives me creativity. It's all a little bit about that. This is real. This is not an idea. This is not a theory. This is something that was created in the middle of the Andes 34 years ago to help this process with people. My mission, I felt deeply in my heart that I have to contribute. I have to make the people feel better, to make them feel lifted. It's not by chance that you're here today. It's not a coincidence. You're here today because you knew that you needed to recover something, and that is within yourself. That light is within yourself. It's there. And it's not a personal thing. It has a beautiful ripple effect. When I do that, I expand and I bring the benefits to my house, to my neighborhood, my country, the planet. It has a global effect. Well, we're about to finish, but before we do that, I would love to give you a little bit of a test, a little bit of a try of what is this experience. We're not going to activate the pineal gland, but we might stimulate it a little bit. We're going to do a meditation that will allow us to increase the vibration, the energy, which I'm pretty sure is already pretty high, but we're going to do it. So I'm going to play some music, and let's give it a try over here. I'm just going to follow my voice, just relax. If you feel that you want to feel asleep, do it, but it's going to be very short, okay? It's not going to be that long. And enjoy this moment. Focus on your breathing. Oops. Thank you very much. Beautiful. Now that we're listening to the music, I just invite you to relax. Please, the music a little bit down. Thank you. Is it better now? Fantastic. Just relax, just breathe. Be aware of your breathing. Listen down and follow your breath. Close your eyes if you feel you're in safe place, your spine in the right position, your hands facing outwards. You can concentrate. this was a very simple exercise to increase the frequency, and it's done after a few words that I have given to you over here. Imagine what can happen when you are in that 2 days conversational seminar that you receive all that information. It's really transformational. As I said, you are not here by chance. You're here to recover that inner divine inheritance that we all have, that inner light that is within you. All that is information is nowadays validated and is available for us, and it has a beautiful ripple effect, as I also told you. So guys, if you're ready to activate the pineal gland, you're welcome to do it. And if you feel the call, if you're interested, here you will see my socials, my contact, and that QR code will take you to the web page where you can register. I only had 2 seminars this year. I already had one in May, and the next one coming in October. If you're interested, there you have it. And I just have to say now, gracias. Thank you very much for being with me today. And of course, if you have any questions, I think I went a little bit over time. It's good. Oh, thank you. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask. I don't know if somebody might have a question about the pineal gland. Is all clear, or you are shy? There are no silly questions. I'm pretty sure that it's in your head, but a lot of people come to me to ask me if the pineal gland calcifies with fluor. And there is a big concern there about the pineal gland. And the answer is yes, it does, but it's irrelevant. Why? Have you heard about the phantom limb syndrome? When some people lose a part of the body and they still feel the arm or whatever they lost? Exactly the same happened with the pineal gland. The pineal gland is full of energy. Even people who have had a brain surgery, surgeries in the brain surgery, and they remove the pineal gland, they still can activate it because the energy is there. So it's just about connecting to that source. So it's irrelevant. Don't put the attention on the pineal gland is calcified. No, just put the attention that the pineal gland can be activated as long as you connect, and you can live a way better life. So thank you very much one more time. Thank you.